Hello and welcome to my channel. As you can see, today we're talking about Eyes Wide Shut, and in particular, we're going to talk about a strange recurring theme I've noticed, and one I think hints at a deeper meaning in the film, and that is the fact that there are so many recurring scenes of characters in hallways and lobbies and waiting rooms, or just walking by themselves, and a lot of cars too. For a director as careful as Stanley Kubrick, this can't be a mistake, and it can't be filler. It is there for a reason, and we're going to find out what that reason is today. Literally, our first scene in Bill and Alice's apartment has several scenes showing them walking through hallways, often hung with art. And this almost immediately transitions to them going to the fancy dress Ziegler party, again with shots in a hallway, and also in a beautifully lit foyer or lobby area. These scenes of rather glamorous life will be very opposite of a lot of the scenes later in the film. And then one of many Bill riding alone in the back of a car scenes happens. This transitions immediately into Bill leaving an elevator, Shades of the Shining, and walking out into another hallway, an empty one. This is Manhattan, by the way, where I live, and I can tell you, there are usually other people in hallways and elevators. Then he goes in an apartment, and what do we get? Another walking in a hallway shot. It's odd. You can't help but notice there are a lot of these in this film. Then, after walking alone on the street, Dr. Bill ends up going home with Domino. And again, we get shots of them in her hallway, and it's obviously a lot less glamorous than where he's just come from, with the building looking pretty run down. I'm starting to wonder if all these shots of hallways and lobbies is supposed to convey a theme of someone who is waiting for something. We're not sure what, because what do people do in hallways and lobbies? They wait. Often people are waiting in those areas, or they're just passing through. It's an anonymous place. Then, of course, the hallway stairs going down into the Sonata Jazz Cafe, where we meet Nick Nightingale again, our piano player, who invites Bill to go to an unusual party. He sends him off to get a costume, and what do we get? Yellow cab shots, alone in the back of a car again. And then in the costume shop, where we end up going through the secret backroom area to end up in again another hallway, basically. This film is full of these shots, and we haven't even gotten to the mansion party, which is full of hallway shots. And after a silent ride alone in the back of another yellow cab to the mansion party very late at night, to be greeted in the foyer of the building by a masked man. Many hallway shots here, usually with security men, where we meet Red Cloak in the middle of a ritual, and when he walks off with our masked lady, they're in yet another hallway. Very dramatic here as the girls are half naked and the men wearing masks. There are many waiting room type areas in this mansion. I can't show all of these scenes just because YouTube won't really allow some of the explicit scenes to be shown. But suffice it to say, there are many shots of Bill and other people walking through hallways here. And then, of course, Dr. Bill has to meet Red Cloak. After Dr. Bill arrives home, he almost has a walk of shame through another hallway. If you added up the minutes of hallway and car shots in this movie, I'm pretty sure it would be a pretty big number. And next day, what do we get? Driving alone in a car again. returning to the mansion where we meet another character who's driving alone in a car. But this guy is a little menacing as he warns Dr. Bill not to continue making inquiries. And after that, yet another yellow cab ride. We end up going through these odd revolving doors and end up yet again in a lobby, this time of a hospital. And again, notice how empty it looks. Hospitals are usually busy places. And then yet more hallway shots on the way to the morgue. A lot of these shots feel a bit empty and lonely to me, maybe even a bit of a noir feeling. Then it's off to Ziegler's house for a talk, and we get another shot of Bill walking through a hallway, this time with what appears to be a security guard. Not sure why Ziegler needs one, but I've literally lost count of how many shots in hallways, lobbies, and cars we've seen our main character in. All of these shots seem to isolate him a bit, maybe showing that one of the themes in Eyes Wide Shut could be alienation. So, to start our sum up, it may seem odd to notice shots about hallways and cars. This stuff might seem pretty ordinary, even boring. It's not the first thing you notice about a film, and yet there are so many of these shots of characters, usually Dr. Bill, traveling or alone or in between places, so there must be a reason why. Well, I think the reason must be an underlying theme, which, in my opinion, is the alienation of modern life. All of the empty lobbies and hallways and lonely car rides, it just feels empty. And it's one of the reasons I titled this video Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. Both Bill and Alice are presented as somewhat superficial people, and having so many shots of them in lonely looking places just kind of underscores the fact that their life is somewhat empty, maybe spiritually or emotionally at least. I think Kubrick isn't just making a comment about the marriage of Bill and Alice, but a commentary about the decline and degradation of modern society as a whole, the fragmentation, the loneliness, a general sense of jamais vu. And what is jamais vu? Well, it's the opposite of déjà vu. Everyone knows what déjà vu is, but jamais vu is the experience of feeling unfamiliar with something that should be very familiar to you, a disorder of memory, an illusion that you can't quite remember where you are. It's definitely what someone would feel if they were completely alienated in their own world. And alienation is definitely one of the themes in this film that is illustrated by all those hallways and cars. Well, that's my new video about all those hallways and lonely car shots in Eyes Wide Shut. Something a little different. Hope you liked it. I'm definitely working on something for next week, and I hope to have that one up soon. Also, it would help my channel if you did subscribe. But either way, my name is Shim. Thank you for spending time with me, and have a great day.
That's right. Hi.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi. Any calls for me?